This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at Chance Theater for their presentation of Anne of Green Gables. Hi, I'm Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Casey Long. I am the managing director, and I was also the director of Anne of Green Gables.
Great. So why do you guys decide to do Anne of Green Gables?
Well, we've actually done Anne of Green Gables 3 times before this, and that's sort of an alternative during the holiday season when everybody's doing Christmas-themed shows. We do it as part of our holiday literature series, where it's an opportunity for families still to come together and celebrate togetherness, and also a story that sort of focuses on community. And it's just really has rung true with our patrons, and that's why we keep bringing it back.
I think I saw Anne of Green Gables a long time ago. I think Shirley Temple was in it. That's how long ago it was that I saw it.
I'd actually only seen, I saw the PBS version and thought it was fantastic. Ann Fellows and Richard Farnsworth were very charming. But I think this show also carries a lot of charm with it, and the simplicity of it and also the theatricality that we were able to bring into the story, I think, makes it a unique and intimate experience.
Actually, one thing I liked about it was that it was a story about strong women. Because, again, it's just hard to find literature with strong women in there.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially classical literature.
Right, and I think that's one reason why, Anne Shirley has remained relevant and popular for, it's been 120 years or something like that. The show has been around, since the story has been around, and it's been adapted into operas and anime cartoons, and it keeps getting done and keeps getting revisited because the story is about a girl who is skinny and freckled but comes into this community and sort of opens the eyes of these people. I think it's very interesting in this story, the first act, there's sort of this old order, that there's the Sunday school teacher and the teacher, and they're sort of grumpy, and the reverend's forgetting all his lines, he can't do his sermons. And with the arrival of Anne Shirley, everything starts to change, and people's eyes start to open wider to the world around, and it's goes beyond just Avonlea. They're talking about women's right to vote. They're talking about this whole awakening that's happening, and it coincides with Anne Shirley's journey. And she's just so precocious and charming and a big dreamer, and who just never gives up. And she's so intelligent, and her connections and her love that she has for people and for a home, because we can never forget that this show is about an orphan, who finds this home, and that's a connection that I think we all could just really relate to.
I agree, because basically it's not a story just for little women. It's not like a little kid's story. It's a story for the whole family, and actually men will enjoy it too.
I think so too. And we have a number of men. It's funny. I mean, obviously we see lots of women or little girls coming out, and they're wiping their eyes, but occasionally I get the guy too who's trying not to show it, but he's wiping a little tear out of his eye towards the end. And I think there's a connection there too, but because it's a universal story. I mean, especially in the relationship with Matthew and Anne. I mean, it's this man is so full of love, but he's a bachelor. He doesn't have a family outside of Marilla, so he doesn't have any way to, express it. And through Anne, he has this connection with this other human that's so simple and so pure and just so beautiful. And I think that any man in the audience who has a connection with a daughter or with a niece or any kind of relationship like that is just immediately gonna lose his heart to this show, and it's beautiful.
Okay. As a director, one of your hardest jobs is actually casting. What do you look for in your casting?
Well, it's you try to identify what the big picture is of a character, and then you find the actors who can bring that big picture and then bring that something extra that so many times is pretty undefinable, but it's just naturally there with people, that they carry a trait about them that you couldn't teach someone else to do. You could try, and I'm sure there's actors out there who could come in and transform, but everybody has an innate quality about them. Our Anne Shirley has this sense of humor that also carries with it this underlying truth and honesty, that her humor comes from a place of just being so earnest. And it's it's something that, I mean, you could really try to get someone to do that, or you just find the right person. Marilla is able to just find the stillness in her, and that undercurrent of there's emotions boiling in there, but you can't see them yet. And so when they actually come out, it's just such a rewarding an experience. And then, of course, you have to look for chemistry. Like, I auditioned, as soon as I sort of started figuring out who I was leaning towards with Anne, I had her read with Gilbert, I had her read with Diana, I had her read with Matthew, and I was trying to find that chemistry, that connection as well, that sometimes it's just naturally there, like when they walk in the door. These two people look like they've been friends. Her and Diana were like hanging out and had like cute little nicknames for each other and such, like during the first week of rehearsal. And that's just something that a director, no matter how hard you try, can actually force an actor to do. So casting is almost about just having the patience to find people that are going to make your story like more than it already is.
Yeah, I was very impressed by your supporting cast, the entire ensemble, because again, you look at some of the matrons, the old elderly ladies, they look like they stepped right out of the book.
Yeah, absolutely. And Sherry Domerego, who's a resident artist here, and she plays Rachel Lynde and Aunt Josephine, she just found this very proper, a character, like the town gossip. She just like fit right into it, and like that was not even me. That was just like she just found it right away. And of course, I have this ensemble who I have 4 people who play multiple roles in this show, and they're all like I drilled them. Like it's like, okay, you got to find like a different characteristic, and that, to their credit, they kept pushing themselves harder and harder, so that if just seeing them stand there, you could be like, oh, that's the professor, oh, that's the teacher, oh, that's, and that's a trick, and that's a quality, but that pays off when an audience is sort of along for the ride, and they understand. It's like, oh, that was the same guy, but now he's French, and or that's the same guy, but now he's the younger reverend, and like things are changing and keep growing, and it just becomes a really fun ride that everybody feels like they're sharing.
Okay. Well, I really enjoyed the play because I thought it was very true to the story. And as for a musical, though, I felt the music was more of a score than it was like, we're doing a musical, come for the songs. What do you think?
Well, I think that the show, I think the songs are simple and they're charming. I believe that they're there to sort of support the show. But I think it's the story. I think that it's the story, it's the performances, and it's the themes about community, and the themes about family, and themes about home, that what everybody's really going to connect with. I believe that our actors bring a lot to the musical numbers, but no, it's not a showstopper like Wicked or something like that. But it's not trying to be either. It's not like a show that goes out there to be like, look at our big musical numbers, and you're like, it's like, we're a simple show. We have a piano. We don't have a orchestra. This is more of it should feel like you're coming here as part of a community to share this experience with other members of your community. And hopefully if you leave with that experience, then we've done our job.
Well, once again, I really enjoyed the play. I enjoyed the story of Anne of Green Gables. Thank you very much for being on the show. Hi, I'm Ashton Marcus with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Alan Corcoran. I play the piano, and I'm the station master.
Great. So what do you think about the music? What kind of style do you think goes with this type of music is?
It's very simple. It kind of goes with the times. In fact, many of the songs, the music is actually in the public domain. There's a few songs, the Charlottetown Rag, and there's, I Dare You, and God's in His Heaven that were original. But obviously Jesus Loves Me and School Days were songs that had already been written. So they're a little bit of mix of folk music and original music, but not very complicated score.
So basically, do you think, just your opinion, do you think Anne of Green Gables was a good music? Because it was a great book, and basically as a stage play, it was fine by itself. Do you think Do you think it was appropriate to be a musical?
I don't know, it's really not for me to say, but I think in this play you'll find the music is maybe not dominant. You know, it's not like a Sondheim play where people are going for, you know, just mostly for the music and not so much for the story. There's a lot of story in this, and the music is more of a supporting role, I would say, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree with you. But again, you know, at least it didn't distract from the story. I mean, it's not here for the music. It was pleasant. It was more like a score, a background score.
Yeah, if you listen carefully, like a lot of the songs are only maybe a minute or so long. There's a couple, you know, Gilbert's song is maybe a couple minutes. The Charlottetown Rag, which is like a big number, is only 2.5 minutes. But a lot of the pieces are just 2 pages of score. There's only 91 pages of score in the whole thing. And so a lot of it is just to add a little bit more, you know, to move the story along. There's some emotional moments, you know, with Matthew, and you know, the church songs kind of fit in with that. But it's very much a supporting role, I think, rather than the main deal.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
All right. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Angela Griswold. I am a local Orange County actress. This is kind of like my second regional professional thing. I'm playing Anne Shirley in Anne of Green Gables at the Chance Theater in Anaheim. She's a talker, for sure. She does not stop. She's so sincere. She's, of course, like this classic literary figure. But there's just so much heart and honesty in her character, and she's such a joy to be able to play every night.
Yeah, I actually like the way you played it.
Thank you so much. It's been a journey, for sure, trying to find that right balance of definitely keeping true to who she is without it being too much, because she's very dramatic. She's very expressive.
Yeah, I definitely felt you were coming towards the edge, but I also noticed that the audience wasn't starting to laugh, because usually when you go over the edge, they start to laugh. They were still very quiet, paying attention, very focused. So again, and inside the story, I see how it was written, that it just had to be like that.
Yeah, you definitely had to listen to her. Everyone in town had to listen, the audience has to listen, because she kind of just barrels through everything. She's like a train coming through this city, and if you're not paying attention, you'll miss like the sweet nuances to her as a person.
One thing I like about it also is it's a story about women, for young women, because you don't see stories like that, especially in that time period.
Yeah, that was what was so amazing about it, is especially Anne, you know, she's very determined to get an education and make her adoptive parents proud, and I think that's really, really inspiring, especially for some of our younger audience members who come and see, like, they get inspired to buy the books, and they see that, you know, you can be kind of this strong woman and, you know, love to be learning, but also like have relationships, and there's no negativity to the situation. It's wonderful.
Do you think it was really true? I mean, because I'm not a woman. I didn't grow up as a woman and all that. But do you think this is actually a reflection of real life?
I would say so, especially in today's society. Probably not so much then, because, you know, there's like the Jane Austen type figures where the women are very strong, but I feel that was more of an outlet for women at the time. But nowadays, I feel that so many more women are coming forward and being secure in themselves and in their positions, whether it's like, even if they're proud to just be a stay-at-home mom or someone who is in charge and has their own business. I think it's a beautiful thing. I really do.
So do you think at the end of the story, were you satisfied with the fact that she gave up her dream? I mean, what's your opinion?
She definitely struggles with it, and I think it's very inspired that, you know, she was an orphan her whole life, and she comes to this place, and it becomes her world. And, I mean, to choose not to give that up over pursuing what she loves, I'm in awe of her to make that decision.
Once again, I really enjoyed the play. And also, I feel that because it was such a classic too, I think it was very true to the classic. It's something that people could go to for entertainment, for education, and also I like this as a Christmas play, too, because there's other plays that have been done to death. A Christmas Carol's been done to death. It's a Wonderful Life has been done to death. But I don't think that many people have seen Anne of Green Gables.
No, and it's really, really just amazing to see that all these kids come in and, you know, like I said earlier, they pick up the books and it's something that's not told very often, but for the holidays, there's so much love in this piece, and I think that's what connects to people. And it's, you know, it's definitely not one that's been performed, at least not here in the United States very often. It's huge in Canada. So if you love it in Canada, you'll love it here. If you've never heard of it, I'm sure you'll love it. It's sweet, and it brings people closer together.
Well, again, I loved your performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
This is Ashton Marcus with KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Xavier Watson. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I started acting there. I've been doing this for a little over 10 years, and it sort of brought me all the way out here to LA, and I've been fortunate enough to keep doing theater whenever I'm not doing anything in TV and film, so just to keep the acting chops up. I play Gilbert Blythe. Gilbert is, he's probably the most popular guy in school. He's a class clown, a little bit of a bully, but this will sound weird, but he can afford to be the class clown because he's also the smartest kid in the class, so he always gets his work done. He has high ambitions for himself, and he jokes around with all of the girls. Like, I mean, if this was set today, it'd be whoo. But, you know, like all the girls in the class like him. And, you know, it's not until Anne comes along that, you know, he sort of meets his match. Because the other girls are not really up to par with him. So there's a bit of a challenge there. And Gilbert's not used to being challenged.
Well, first of all, I liked your performance. I really liked your singing, too. You're actually a very good, talented singer.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it. I've been working on it. Last production I did that required me to sing was Hairspray here at the Chance a few months ago, where I played Seaweed. So,
Okay, now, the hard question about this. This is actually a play about women, and you actually would represent, if this were reversed around as a play about men, there would be this beautiful woman who's, the only reason she's there is she's got to be beautiful, and the guy has to win her. That's you. You're the beautiful woman. And the question I'd like to ask a girl, but I really don't ask them, well, how does that feel? Is this a challenging enough role for you? I mean, because you're really not acting a whole lot. So what do you think about that?
Well, I think for me the most challenging thing was playing a 12-year-old. You know, it's I just had to keep reminding myself, you know, before the show starts. It's like, okay, you're 12. You're not, you know, there's certain things that you can't know the answer to yet, especially in the solo that Gilbert has, where he's singing through his frustrations of why he feels this way about a girl, because he's never felt this way about a girl before, and it's getting him off his game. And so he's trying to figure that out as a 12-year-old. Now, as a, you know, 22-year-old, now, you know, I'm like, okay, I understand what these feelings are, but he doesn't. But the story itself is it's about a young girl who she has a terrific imagination, and yes, she might talk a lot, and she's very impulsive, but there's just something about her that people fall in love with, and it's probably because she's so open and she cares about everything and everybody. And I think that's probably one of the main messages you get out of the show, is that you know, being open and being kind to everybody can really change people's hearts, I guess. You know.
Yeah. One question I always wanted to ask you, because, you know, we've interviewed before. When I take a look at you're an African American, mm-hmm. and I go to theaters, like only 5% of all theater actors I ever see are African American. Why is that?
Well, one of the things that's interesting with this particular version of Anne of Green Gables, this is the fourth time that the Chance is doing it. Gilbert there's never really been a black person in the show before. So this was a little different, having Gilbert being African American in the show. and with audience response, it doesn't cross their mind. It's like, oh, she's white, he's black. It doesn't matter. You know, the love story is what, and the innocence of them being children is what I think people really resonate, which is why they've done this show 4 times and we get so many people to come see it, is because it's a love story and there's that innocence of you being children where it didn't matter like, oh, I'm hanging with white people or I'm hanging with black people or whatever. You know, it's like, you know, it doesn't matter, you know. But in terms of, you know, diverse casting, it starts with the writing, but with pieces like this, where it's not really stated, you know, kind of, I won't say mess with it, but you can take some liberties with it and it'll work because it's the story that people are interested in.
Again, I love the performance. I love your acting. So thank you very much for being on the show.
Oh, you're welcome, man. I appreciate it.
Hi, this is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Brian Weigel. I'm 21. I do theater in my free time. I'm actually a marketing major, but this is my first show at the Chance. Done a lot of shows in the past. Yeah, I don't know. I played Charlie Sloan. He was kind of the bully of the friend group and stuff like that. Yeah, he was kind of the troublemaker and the class clown.
a marketing major. So basically, do you do this just as a hobby, or you really want to aspire to become a real working actor where this is all you do?
You know, it kind of started off as a hobby, but like every show I do more and more, and like as I hone my skills more, I kind of think that it is what I want to do with my life, you know? So it's kind of been developing more and more.
Yeah. So do you think this was something that was innate, something you were born with, or is it something you just started to develop?
I think over the past year, I've been working really, really hard on it, especially my singing. Definitely wasn't born with it. My mom and dad are both terrible singers. They'll tell you the same thing. But yeah, I guess I've been working really hard on it. Well, definitely wasn't born with it.
Because that's actually something I'm fascinated with. I'm actually trying to figure out what an artist really is. A lot of your fellow actors, they start when they're like 5.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're just born different from it. They're either born singing or they're born dancing, or they just can't stop doing it. But also, every now and then I hear about one person or two in which basically they say they don't believe that. No.
You know, I think everyone has a story to tell, for sure. But I do think that every person is different. And some people are born just to be a star, and they have just that innate natural talent that, you know, they walk in a room and you're like, boom, who's that? And I also think there's other people who, you know, work on it every day and, you know, really put in that effort to it to match those people.
So what do you think about community theater? Because, again, it's something where you don't get paid, and it's something you've got a day job, a marketing guy or something like that. And it's something you just do to blow off a little steam, or something that you just do because you love.
You know, I think you summed it up right there. We do it because we love it. You know, even if we don't get paid, I think, you know, the experience itself is kind of the payment. You know, we do it because we love it, and we're up there, and we're performing, and those lights, and the songs, and we love it all. We love every second of it. We love the audiences. You know, that's the payment, you know. It's just fun. We do it because we love it.
Okay. So what do you think of the performance of Anne of Green Gables?
I loved every second of it. I actually didn't know the story that well once I was when I auditioned, but you know, I got the call saying I got the role, and I was like, okay, I should probably read the books and stuff. And I read the first 2 books, and I watched like the TV movie they made, and absolutely fell in love with the story, fell in love with Anne, fell in love with everyone, and I was like, oh my God, I am so happy and so blessed to be a part of this project, because it is so wonderful and it's so cute. It's so darn cute. I think everyone loves this tale. It's so old and everyone knows it.
Yeah. Well, I liked it a lot too. Because first of all, it's also a classic, and I like classics myself. Yeah. It's hard to find classics in which basically are really for women, in which aren't, how should I put this, they're classical women, but they aren't just only for women. Men can enjoy it too. Yeah, I think that's true also. I mean, you know, it's about this girl who is so strong and so hard-headed, and she kind of just takes down everyone in her way, but like in a good way. And I think we really appreciate that, you know, a strong woman. Okay, well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for seeing it.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with
Jim Gittles. I've done about 15 or 20 of these shows. This is my first time at the Chance, though, so I'm very happy to be an Anne of Green Gables.
Great. And which character did you play?
Well, my character is called Man One. I play 4 different characters, so it's kind of a stretch for me.
So what do you think about the story of Green Gables?
I think it's very touching and heartwarming, and this production is guaranteed to bring a tear to everyone's eye.
I particularly like the story because, again, I like stories with strong women. And again, you usually don't see stories about strong little girls.
Especially from this time period. It's set in the Victorian era when women were supposed to sit back and take a more traditional role, and Anne doesn't stand for that. She plows right ahead and does what she thinks is right, and usually works out for the best for her.
Yeah, and I think actually, again, there's some women's stories that I really don't get a whole lot, but I really did get this one. But I also think, again, me being a man, I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I think it's actually true to the life of a woman.
Well, I think they're probably when they're held back, they probably resist that, and not being a woman, I don't really know for sure.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
Quite welcome. Thank you.
Anne of Green Gables will be playing at Chance Theater from November 27th to December 27th. For more information, go to chancetheater.com or theorangecurtainrev.com.